The alert came at 3:17 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Colonel Jack Mason was sleeping when his secure phone buzzed on the nightstand. He grabbed it quickly, his mind instantly clear despite the hour. "Mason," he answered. "Sir, this is Lieutenant Garcia, at Orbital Command. We've detected something unusual." Jack sat up, rubbing his eyes. "Define unusual, Lieutenant." "Multiple objects, sir, approaching from beyond Neptune's orbit. They're moving at speeds we've never recorded before. Definitely not natural bodies. Not ours either." Jack's heart rate quickened. After 20 years leading Earth's orbital defense initiative, this was the moment they had prepared for but hoped would never come. "Wake everyone up. Initiate Protocol 7. I'll be there in 15 minutes. Within the hour, every major leader on Earth knew. An alien fleet was heading straight for them. Initial estimates suggested at least 30 vessels of various sizes, all traveling at speeds that made Earth's best ships look like bicycles next to race cars. By morning, the world was in a controlled panic. News networks showed the same grainy images captured by deep space telescopes. The ships were sleek, almost predatory in design. They gleamed with an iridescent metal unknown to Earth science. Lisa Carter, the United Nations Ambassador for Extraterrestrial Affairs, stood before the emergency session of the UN Security Council. Her hands trembled slightly as she placed her notes on the podium. "The aliens call themselves the Zarkian Empire," she announced. "They've established communication using our own satellite network. They're demanding a meeting with Earth's leaders." President Kevin Russell nodded grimly. "And we're going to give them one. Ambassador Carter, Colonel Mason, you'll represent humanity's interests." The meeting took place aboard the largest alien vessel now in Earth orbit. Jack felt small as he and Lisa were escorted through corridors that seemed to shift and pulse with energy. The air carried a faint metallic scent. The Zarkian commander stood nearly 7 feet tall. His skin was pale blue with intricate patterns that seemed to glow from beneath. 4 eyes, arranged in a diamond pattern, studied the humans with obvious disdain. "I am Admiral Vexthor," the alien announced, his words translated through a device on his uniform. "Commander of the 16th Fleet of the glorious Zarkian Empire. I come with simple terms for your primitive world." Lisa stepped forward. "Admiral, we welcome peaceful contact with your civilization. Earth hopes to establish diplomatic—" A harsh sound erupted from Vexthor's throat. It took Jack a moment to realize the alien was laughing. Diplomacy? With a species that hasn't even colonized its own moon? How amusing. The Admiral gestured to a large screen where images of Earth's military installations appeared. "Your pitiful defenses are charming, like watching children play with sticks." Jack clenched his jaw but remained silent. Let them underestimate us, he thought. "The terms are simple," Vexthor continued. "Earth will provide resources, labor, and territory for our empire. In exchange, we allow your species to continue existing." Lisa tried again. "Admiral, surely we can discuss more equitable arrangements." "There is nothing to discuss," Vexthor interrupted. "You have seen our ships. One vessel could destroy your largest cities. The entire fleet could sterilize your world in days." As if to emphasize his point, smaller Zarkian ships took positions above major Earth cities. Their weapon systems glowed ominously. "You have 48 hours to begin preparations for our landing parties," Vexthor stated. "Any resistance will be met with immediate demonstration of force." As they were escorted back to their shuttle, Jack whispered to Lisa, "They think we're helpless." Lisa looked pale. "Aren't we? Did you see their technology?" Jack's eyes hardened. "They see what we've shown the world. They haven't seen everything." As their shuttle descended back to Earth, Jack watched the alien fleet spread across Earth's orbit like predators circling wounded prey. Let them mock us, he thought. They'll learn soon enough what humans are capable of when pushed into a corner. The real fight hadn't even begun. The deadline passed. Earth's leaders had argued for hours, but reached no consensus. Some nations wanted to fight immediately, others begged for surrender. In the end, they did neither, and Admiral Vexthor interpreted their silence as defiance. Captain Ryan Daniels stood on the bridge of the USS Defender, America's most advanced destroyer. His orders were simple: protect the eastern seaboard at all costs. Around him, sailors watched radar screens as 5 alien ships descended through the atmosphere. "Weapon status," Ryan called out. "All missiles armed and ready, sir," his weapons officer responded. "Nuclear options awaiting final authorization code." Ryan nodded grimly. "Let's hope it doesn't come to that." The first blast hit Miami without warning. A beam of intense blue light shot from the lead alien ship, carving a trench through downtown. Buildings crumbled. The sea boiled where the beam touched water. "Open fire," Ryan ordered, his voice steady despite the horror on the screens. The USS Defender launched its full arsenal. 12 hypersonic missiles streaked toward the nearest alien vessel. On radar, Ryan watched as they approached the target, then simply vanished. Direct hits confirmed, but the weapons officer's voice faltered. "No effect, sir. Their shields absorbed everything." Similar reports came in from around the world. Russian anti-aircraft batteries, Chinese laser platforms, European railguns, all fired their best weapons. All failed to penetrate Zarkion defenses. In her laboratory beneath the Pentagon, Dr. Susan Miller watched the attacks unfold on multiple screens. She grabbed her secure phone and dialed. "Colonel Mason, it's worse than we thought," she said when he answered. "Their shield technology is beyond anything we've seen. Nothing in our conventional arsenal can touch them." Jack's voice was tight. "What about the special projects? Maybe the HFY cannon or the plasma lance, but those are prototypes. We'd need weeks to prep them for field use." "We don't have weeks, Susan. We barely have hours." By nightfall, 12 major cities worldwide lay in ruins. The death toll climbed into the millions. Zarkion ships hovered above the smoking remains, untouched by humanity's best weapons. President Kevin Russell sat in the Situation Room, surrounded by ashen-faced generals. The live feed showed London burning. "Enough," he said quietly. "Get me Admiral Vexthor." The alien commander appeared on screen, 4 eyes blinking lazily. "Have you reconsidered your position?" "We request 24 hours to organize an orderly surrender," President Russell said. Vexthor made that strange laughing sound again. "Granted. Though I must say your weapons were even more pathetic than our scans suggested. Did you really think those primitive missiles could harm our ships?" The feed cut off. President Russell looked around the table. "Get everyone to the mountain," he ordered. "Activate Protocol Omega." Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, General Patricia Davis received the coded message. She stood in a massive underground hangar that officially didn't exist, watching as lights flickered on, illuminating row after row of aircraft unlike any the public had ever seen. "It's time," she told her staff. "Wake the pilots. Prep the ships." In similar facilities around the world, hidden arsenals stirred to life. In the Mariana Trench in the Australian outback, beneath the Antarctic ice, doors that hadn't opened in decades slid apart. Back aboard the USS Defender, now limping away from the burning coastline, Captain Ryan received new orders. His eyes widened as he read them. "Change course," he ordered. "Head for rendezvous point Theta." His executive officer looked confused. "Sir, those coordinates are in the middle of the Atlantic. There's nothing there." Ryan's face was grim. "There's plenty there. You just don't have clearance to know about it yet." As night fell across a devastated Earth, survivors huddled in fear. News channels showed the same footage. Alien ships demolishing humanity's conventional forces with ease. But beneath the surface, in hardened bunkers and secret bases, a different story was unfolding. Earth had been playing a long game. For decades, the best minds and vast black budgets had prepared for this day. The real war was about to begin. 2 weeks after the initial attack, Earth appeared broken. Major cities lay in ruins. Smoke filled the skies. Refugee camps stretched across the countryside. The Zarkian ships patrolled lazily overhead, occasionally destroying a military installation that dared to show resistance. Admiral Vexthor sat in his command chair aboard the flagship, studying reports from the ground teams. The conquest was proceeding even more smoothly than expected. He opened a channel to the human leaders who had survived. "Your planet's resources will now be cataloged," he announced. "Each nation will provide workers for our processing centers. Any region that fails to meet quotas will face immediate punishment." On the screens before him, the remaining world leaders nodded glumly, all except President Russell, whose face remained stone-like. "You have something to say, human?" Vexthor asked. "Only that you should enjoy this moment," Russell replied quietly. "It won't last." Vexthor laughed. "Your defiance is amusing but pointless. Your military is in ruins. Your weapons are useless against us. What exactly do you think will change?" The president simply stared back silently. Vexthor ended the transmission with a dismissive gesture. "Primitive species always go through this phase," he told his officers. "They'll accept reality soon enough." Below the surface of Earth, reality was very different. 5,000 feet beneath the Rocky Mountains, General Patricia Davis stood before a map table. Around her gathered military leaders from 30 nations, all transported to this facility through secret tunnels and hidden aircraft. "Status report," she demanded. A Chinese general stepped forward. "Lunar base Zhenghe is operational. All 50 kinetic launchers armed and targeting data uploaded." "The Atlantis platform is now at full power," added a British admiral. "Submersible. Fleet ready to deploy on your command." One by one, reports came in from facilities that appeared on no public map. Weapon systems that no defense budget had ever officially funded. Technologies that had been developed in absolute secrecy for decades. 3 levels below, Dr. Alan Wright led a team of scientists through a massive laboratory. Transparent chambers held strange devices that pulsed with energy. Engineers made final adjustments to aircraft that seemed more alien than human in design. "The phase shift technology is stable," he explained to Colonel Mason as they walked. "We can bypass their shields completely. The EMP warheads will disable their systems once we're past the outer defenses." Jack nodded. "What about the larger ships? The flagship?" Alan stopped before a sealed vault door. He pressed his palm to a scanner and massive locks disengaged. "This is what we've been saving for a special occasion." The door swung open to reveal a pulsing blue core floating in a containment field. "We reversed engineered it from the crash at Roswell," Alan explained. "Antimatter technology, but configured in a way we're only beginning to understand. One of these can take out their largest ship." Jack stared at the device. "How many do we have?" 7. "It's all we could produce with the available exotic materials. It'll have to be enough." Back on the surface, Captain Ryan Daniels guided his damaged ship into a hidden cove along the main coastline. The massive sea doors opened, revealing an underground dock that dwarfed any public naval facility. As the USS Defender settled into a berth, Ryan stared in amazement at what surrounded him. Dozens of vessels unlike any he had seen before. Ships with strange hull configurations. Weapon systems that seemed decades ahead of what he knew existed. A dock officer approached him. "Captain Daniels, your new command is ready." Ryan followed him to a sleek vessel with no visible windows or conventional propulsion system. "What is this?" he asked. "The USS Vengeance, sir. Magnetohydrodynamic drive, metamaterial cloaking, fusion-powered rail batteries. She's been waiting for the right captain." Ryan ran his hand along the strange hull. "How long has this been here?" The officer smiled grimly. "We broke ground on this facility during the Cold War. Some threats come from beyond the stars. We've always known that." Throughout the hidden bases of Earth, thousands of soldiers and scientists prepared for battle. The aliens thought they had won. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The Zarkian landing ships descended through the clouds above what was once Chicago. They carried settlement teams, resource surveyors, and labor camp administrators. After the easy victory over Earth's pathetic defenses, confidence ran high among the alien forces. Commander Zulvik watched from the lead transport as they approached the ruined city center. His job was simple: establish the first permanent Zarkian base on this primitive world. Primitive but resource-rich, he told his officers. The water alone makes this conquest worthwhile. The sensors showed no significant human military presence. Below, just scattered groups of survivors hiding in the rubble. Exactly as expected. The first explosion caught everyone by surprise. One moment Zulvik was studying landing coordinates. The next, alarms blared as the transport next to his erupted in flames and spiraled toward the ground. What happened? He demanded. His sensor officer looked confused. Unknown weapon signature, it wasn't there. Then suddenly, 2 more transports exploded before he could finish. Through the viewport, Zulvik saw streaks of light rising from positions that had registered as empty seconds before. On the ground, Major Eric Johnson lowered his targeting system and spoke into his communication device. Phase 1 complete. 3. Transports down. Eric's squad was spread across the ruins, each soldier wearing armor that bent light around them. Not true invisibility, but enough to fool alien sensors. Each carried a shoulder-mounted weapon that looked too advanced to be human-made. Remember, Eric told his team, 1 shot per position, then move. Don't give them time to target you. More. Explosions lit the sky as similar teams across the globe struck simultaneously. From the ruins of Berlin, the forests outside Tokyo, the deserts near Cairo, hidden squads attacked landing parties with weapons the aliens had never seen humans use. In her underground lab, Dr. Susan Miller watched the data stream in. The EMP. Rounds are working, she told Colonel Mason. Their personal shields can't handle the pulse frequency. Jack nodded. What about their communication systems? Olivia's team is already inside their network. They never expected cyber warfare from primitives like us. Olivia Thompson sat surrounded by screens in a bunker beneath Seattle. Her fingers flew across keyboards as she and her team penetrated alien systems that had seemed impenetrable just days before. Their encryption is advanced but predictable, she explained to her team. They never bothered to change their default security protocols. Arrogance makes for terrible cybersecurity. High above Earth, Lieutenant Kelly Brown piloted her craft toward a Zarkian patrol ship. Her vessel looked nothing like conventional human aircraft. Its skin rippled with colors that matched the surrounding space, making it nearly invisible to the naked eye. Approaching target, she reported. Phase shift drive active. Her craft shimmered and then did something impossible. It passed directly through the Zarkian shield as if it wasn't there. Kelly locked onto the ship's propulsion system and fired specialty rounds that attached to the hull, then burrowed inside. Seeds. Planted, she reported, banking away sharply. Moving to safe distance. Moments later, the patrol ship's engines failed. It drifted helplessly in orbit as similar scenes played out across Earth's atmosphere. In the Atlantic Ocean, the water began to churn 60 miles east of Bermuda. Massive platforms rose from the depths, carrying missile systems unlike anything seen in public. Commander Frank Martinez stood on the command deck of the lead platform. All batteries, fire when ready, he ordered. Hundreds of missiles launched, simultaneously from the newly revealed platforms. They didn't fly straight at the alien vessels. Instead, they curved away from Earth, into deep space, only to reappear from unexpected vectors, bypassing early warning systems. Aboard his flagship, Admiral Vexthor watched in growing horror as reports flooded in. Landing parties decimated. Patrol ships disabled, communications compromised. Impossible, he muttered. Their technology was primitive. We saw their weapons. We tested their defenses. His second-in-command approached cautiously. Sir, it appears they were hiding their true capabilities. Vexthor slammed his fist down. Sound general alert. All ships to battle stations. These humans will regret their deception. But across Earth, the counterattack was already gaining momentum. Humanity had been preparing for this moment for generations, and they were just getting started. Admiral Vexthor paced the bridge of his flagship. 3 days had passed since the humans revealed their hidden weapons. His fleet had lost 17 ships. Hundreds of Zarkian soldiers were dead or missing. This was not how the invasion was supposed to go. Send the signal, he ordered. I want the second battle group here immediately. His communications officer bowed. It will take them 6 days to arrive, Admiral. Then they should have departed 6 days ago. Vexthor snapped. These humans are not the primitives our scouts reported. Someone made a grave error in assessment. On Earth, the counteroffensive gained momentum. In orbit, a new weapon revealed itself. General Patricia Davis watched from her command center as the first kinetic orbital launchers fired from their hidden lunar base. The weapons were simple in concept: tungsten rods, 20 feet long and a foot thick, dropped from orbit. No explosives, no complex technology, just mass and velocity. The first rod struck a Zarkian cruiser at 18 miles per second, punching through its shields as if they weren't there. Gravity doesn't care about energy shields, Patricia explained to the gathered commanders. Their defense systems are designed to stop energy weapons and explosives, not solid projectiles moving at these speeds. More rods fell from the moon, each striking with the force of a small nuclear weapon, but with no radiation. 5 more alien ships were destroyed in the first hour. In her lab, Olivia Thompson made a breakthrough while studying captured alien communication devices. They communicate on frequencies we never thought to monitor, she told Colonel Mason over a secure line. But more importantly, they use specific sound patterns that affect their nervous systems. You mean like music? Jack asked. More like anti-music. Their hearing is sensitive to certain frequency combinations that cause discomfort or fear. We can use this. Within hours, human forces began broadcasting these sounds during ground engagements. Zarkian troops clutched their heads in pain, unable to maintain formation or return fire effectively. Captain Ryan Daniels guided his new ship, the USS Vengeance, through the wreckage of alien vessels in low Earth orbit. The ship moved silently, its advanced drive system leaving no heat signature for enemies to detect. Target locked, his weapons officer reported. Enemy supply vessel in range. Fire when ready, Ryan ordered. The Vengeance's main weapon was unlike anything in humanity's public arsenal. A beam of concentrated particles shot forth, bypassing the alien shield harmonics and cutting the supply ship in half. Direct hit, the weapons officer confirmed. Target neutralized. Ryan nodded. Move to the next objective. We need to cut off their ground forces from resupply. In Washington, D.C., or what remained of it, President Russell addressed the United Nations via secure broadcast from his underground command center. Today we have shown the Zarkian Empire that Earth will not fall, he declared. For decades, we maintained a public face of limited military capability while secretly preparing. For this very scenario, we didn't want this war, but we will finish it. Admiral Vexthor received the human broadcast and snarled in frustration. His ship rocked as another kinetic rod streaked past, narrowly missing his flagship. Their deception was impressive, his science officer admitted. Our intelligence suggested their technology was decades behind ours. They showed us what they wanted us to see, Vexthor replied bitterly. A classic military deception. He stared at the tactical display showing his diminishing fleet. Target their major population centers. If they want a real war, we will give them one. No more precision strikes. Burn their cities to ash. But as his ships moved to attack positions, they encountered something new. A shimmering barrier of energy began to form in the upper atmosphere, emanating from stations hidden in Earth's oceans. A planetary shield? His science officer gasped. Impossible. Even our homeworld doesn't possess such technology. Vexthor's 4 eyes narrowed. What else are these humans hiding? The answer came sooner than he expected. From Earth's dark side, a fleet of vessels emerged, sleek, deadly, and unmistakably human in design. Leading them was a massive ship that dwarfed even his flagship. General Davis's voice came over all frequencies. Zarkian forces, this is just the first wave. Surrender or be destroyed. The real battle for Earth had begun. Every factory on Earth now worked around the clock. Car plants made armor plating. Toy manufacturers produced circuit boards. Clothing mills created special fabrics for spacesuits. The entire planet had shifted to war production. Dr. Alan Wright stood in a massive hangar, surrounded by captured alien technology. Teams of scientists worked day and night, taking apart Zarkian weapons, shields, and engines. Their technology isn't actually that advanced, Alan explained to Colonel Mason. They've just been using it longer. The principles are similar to theories our scientists proposed decades ago. Jack nodded. How quickly can we adapt it? We already have. These new fighter craft have shields based on their design, but improved by our engineers. Their weapons were designed to fight other energy weapons. We're combining their technology with approaches they never considered. Across the room, a captured Zarkian ship was being rebuilt with human modifications. Where elegant curves once dominated, angular human additions now protruded. It looked ugly but functional, like most effective human weapons throughout history. In his new command center, President Russell met with his military chiefs. The map table showed Earth and near space, with Zarkian forces in red and human forces in blue. The red was steadily shrinking. The time has come to apply the total war doctrine, Russell announced. No more holding back. No more saving resources for a rainy day. This is the rainy day our ancestors prepared for. General Patricia Davis nodded grimly. Phase 4 is ready, Mr. President. The deep space platforms are armed, and the dark side fleet is at full strength. And Project Lazarus? He asked. The first soldiers have completed the procedure. They're ready for deployment. Russell looked around the table. Our ancestors knew this day might come. For generations, we maintained the illusion of being divided, squabbling nations barely able to reach our own moon. All while preparing for this very scenario. Begin the operation. Captain Ryan Daniels stood on the bridge of the upgraded USS Vengeance, his ship now incorporated Zarkian technology, making it a hybrid of two worlds and deadlier than either. All weapon systems online, his first officer reported. Phase shift drive at full capacity. Ryan studied the tactical display. His target was the Zarkian command carrier, a massive vessel that coordinated their fleet operations. Begin attack. Run, he ordered. Activate stealth systems. The Vengeance disappeared from both visual and sensor detection as it accelerated toward the alien fleet. Similar ships followed in formation, Earth's first true space combat fleet. On the ground, Major Eric Johnson led a different kind of mission. His team had been physically enhanced through classified procedures, making them stronger and faster than normal humans. They moved through the ruins of Paris toward a grounded Zarkian ship. Remember, Eric told his squad, we need the navigation computer intact. Kill anyone who gets in the way. The soldiers moved with inhuman speed, their enhanced muscles and reflexes making them nearly as fast as the aliens. They weren't just soldiers anymore. They were the first generation of humanity's answer to alien biology. In orbit, Admiral Vexthor received alarming news. The reinforcement fleet had arrived, but 3 ships had been destroyed the moment they emerged from faster-than-light travel. How? He demanded. They couldn't have known where they would appear. His tactical officer looked grim. The humans have mined the space around their planet with automated weapons platforms. They're using our own jump point calculations against us. Vexthor slammed his fist into a console. They were ready for us. Not just ready, they've been preparing for interstellar war for decades. A massive explosion rocked his ship. Warning. Lights flashed across the bridge. Multiple human vessels detected. His sensor officer shouted. They appeared from nowhere. Through the viewport, Vexthor watched in horror as ships with human markings materialized around his fleet. They moved with impossible agility, firing weapons that combined Zarkian energy technology with human kinetic principles. Send a message to High Command, Vexthor ordered. The humans fight. He paused, searching for words. They fight like nothing we've encountered. They wage total war. As he spoke, Earth's lunar cannons fired again. The reinforcement fleet began to burn. Admiral Vexthor watched in disbelief as his reinforcement fleet burned. The humans had set traps at every jump point. They had anticipated his tactics perfectly. How was this possible? The Third Fleet is reporting heavy losses. His communications officer said. They request permission to retreat beyond lunar orbit. Denied, Vexthor snarled. We cannot show weakness. The Empire does not retreat, but the Empire had never faced anything like this before. For thousands of years, the Zarkians had conquered one primitive world after another. None had ever been prepared. None had ever fought back so effectively. Commander Frank Martinez led the space assault from his flagship, the Liberty. The massive vessel had remained hidden on the far side of the moon until this moment. Now it led a fleet of 200 ships, all built in secret over decades. "Target their flagship," Frank ordered. "All forward batteries." The Liberty's main weapons charged, drawing power from a core that burned with energy similar to that of the Zarkian ships, but modified by human ingenuity. The beam that fired was blindingly bright, cutting through space and slamming into the alien flagship's shields. For a moment, the shields held, then they flickered and failed. The beam carved a deep gash in the Zarkian vessel's hull. "They're wounded but still operational," Frank's tactical officer reported. "Prepare boarding teams," Frank ordered. "I want that ship intact if possible. Their database will be invaluable." Lieutenant Kelly Brown led her stealth fighter squadron on a different mission. Her targets were the Zarkian supply ships and fuel tankers hovering at the edge of the battle. "Remember," she told her pilots, "hit and fade. Don't stay visible for more than 10 seconds. Her fighters darted between alien vessels, appearing just long enough to fire their specialized weapons before vanishing again. Each attack severed fuel lines, ruptured storage containers, and disabled engines. Without supplies, the Zarkian fleet would be stranded. On Earth, Dr. Susan Miller stood before a massive weapon unlike anything ever publicly acknowledged. The sunburst looked like a satellite dish the size of a football field, but its purpose was far deadlier. "Energy levels at maximum," her chief engineer reported. "The targeting system is locked on the enemy battle group at coordinates 739. Susan took a deep breath. "Fire when ready." The sunburst hummed softly, then released what appeared to be a pulse of golden light. It shot upward through the atmosphere, seemingly harmless. But when it reached the target coordinates, it expanded suddenly into a sphere of energy that engulfed 12 Zarkian ships simultaneously. When the light faded, the ships drifted lifelessly, all systems dead. "Direct hit," the engineer confirmed. "EMP successful on all targets." The sunburst wasn't a destructive weapon, it was something far more sophisticated. It generated an electromagnetic pulse tuned specifically to Zarkian technology, shutting down their systems without harming human equipment. In the command center, Colonel Jack Mason studied the battle reports with grim satisfaction. The tide had turned decisively. "General Davis, the enemy fleet is down to 38% combat effectiveness," he reported. "Their flagship is damaged, and their supply lines are cut." Patricia nodded. "And our losses?" 12 ships destroyed, 17 damaged. "Well within acceptable parameters." Acceptable parameters. The phrase would have been unthinkable weeks ago when millions had died in the initial attack. But humanity was fighting with cold calculation now. They had planned for losses. They had prepared replacements. Aboard his crippled flagship, Admiral Vexthor received a transmission from the Zarkian homeworld. The High Council appeared on screen, their faces stern. "Explain this disaster," the Council leader demanded. "How is a primitive species defeating our best fleet?" "They deceived us," Vexthor replied, his voice hoarse. "They have technology nearly equal to ours and tactics we've never encountered. They fight without hesitation, without mercy." "Can you win this battle?" Vexthor hesitated, then spoke words he had never uttered before. "No. We need to retreat and reassess. These humans, they fight like nothing we've encountered. They don't fight for territory or resources. They fight for total victory." As he spoke, alarms blared. Human boarding craft had attached to his ship's hull. The Council leader's eyes widened. "They've breached your flagship?" The transmission cut off as Major Eric Johnson's enhanced soldiers burst onto the bridge. The last thing Vexthor saw was a human soldier moving with impossible speed, weapon raised. Admiral Vexthor awoke in a clean white room. His wounds had been treated. His uniform was gone, replaced by a simple gray jumpsuit. A force field shimmered. At the room's entrance, he was a prisoner. Outside the cell, Colonel Jack Mason studied the alien commander. The once proud Zarkian looked diminished somehow. his blue skin dull with fatigue. "You should have just asked for trade relations," Jack said as he entered the cell. "We would have welcomed peaceful contact." Vexthor looked up slowly. "The Empire does not ask. The Empire takes. Not from Earth. Not anymore. In orbit, the last Zarkian ships attempted to escape. Only 7 vessels remained from the once mighty invasion fleet. They fired their engines at maximum power, racing for the jump point that would take them home. They never reached it." Commander Frank Martinez watched from the bridge of the Liberty as Earth's new defense grid activated. Satellites that had remained hidden until now revealed themselves, forming a web around the planet. Energy beams connected them, creating a barrier that trapped the fleeing ships. "All enemy vessels contained," his tactical officer reported. "Awaiting your orders, sir." Frank nodded. "Give them one chance to surrender. After that, disable their engines. We want prisoners, not corpses." 3 ships surrendered immediately. The other 4 fought until their engines were destroyed. With their capture, the battle for Earth ended. Humanity had won. In the White House Situation Room, rebuilt underground after the original was destroyed, President Russell met with his War Council. The mood was solemn despite their victory. "Casualties?" he asked. General Patricia Davis consulted. Her tablet. "Final count is 12 million civilians, 800,000 military personnel, most during the initial attack." Russell closed his eyes briefly. "And our current military status?" "The fleet is at 70% strength. The lunar base is fully operational. The Mars defense platform will be online within 6 months. And Project Starfall?" Patricia exchanged glances with Dr. Alan Wright before answering. "The first 5 ships are ready, Mr. President." Russell nodded. "Prepare them for immediate departure. I want them ready to launch within 48 hours. In her lab, Dr. Susan Miller examined data from the captured Zarkian ships. The star charts revealed something disturbing. "The Empire controls over 200 systems," she told Colonel Mason. "They've been conquering worlds for thousands of years." Jack frowned. "And they all fell easily?" "None had our advantages. None knew. They were coming. We were lucky. Our ancestors found that crashed ship in 1947 and understood the threat. Across the planet, reconstruction had already begun. Cities were being rebuilt, but differently now. Underground shelters, hidden weapon platforms, and advanced defense systems were integrated into every new structure. Humanity had revealed its true face to the galaxy. There would be no going back. Ambassador Lisa Carter entered the diplomatic chamber where representatives from the Zarkian Empire waited nervously. Their arrogance was gone now, replaced by something new in their 4 eyes: respect and fear. "Your Admiral has been treated according to our laws of war," Lisa informed them. "He will be returned to you as a gesture of good faith. But first, let me outline our terms." The aliens listened as Lisa presented humanity's demands: recognition of Earth sovereignty, reparations for the attack, and access to certain technologies. But most importantly, formal acknowledgement that Earth was not to be threatened again. The lead diplomat spoke hesitantly. "And if we refuse?" Lisa smiled thinly. "Then the human fleet currently preparing for departure will demonstrate our new capabilities closer to your homeworld." On the launch platform, Captain Ryan Daniels surveyed his new command. The USS Retribution dwarfed any vessel humanity had publicly acknowledged before the war. It combined the best of human innovation with adapted Zarkian technology. "Beautiful, isn't she?" General Davis said, joining him on the observation deck. Ryan nodded, ready to carry our message to the stars. "A simple message," Davis replied. "Leave us in peace or face the consequences." In his cell, Admiral Vexthor watched news feeds showing the human fleet preparing for departure. 5 massive warships, each capable of destroying a small moon. "We thought they were primitives," he murmured. "We mocked their defenses. We never understood what humanity truly is." Colonel Mason stood nearby. "And what are we?" Vexthor looked up, his 4 eyes filled with new understanding. You are the only species we've encountered that prepared for war while praying for peace. That makes you the most dangerous beings in the galaxy.